Hey everybody, Pastor Doug here. It's Friday. Hey, it's Friday. I know that doesn't mean quite as much now as it did 5 or 6 weeks ago. After you put in a long, hard week, and if you're not working, and yesterday felt like Friday to us. I mean, all of our days are mixed up. But I promise you, it's Friday. So what to talk about today? Well, something that probably most of us at some point can relate to. And if you have some concern in this area, then it's probably gotten worse the last 5 or 6 weeks. And that's this thing we call moodiness, or just being moody. Now I got to stop for a moment and brag on my wife, Lori. And she is filming this, and she did not know I was going to say this. She never knows what I'm going to say at all, I promise you. If she did, she'd probably say, why don't you go in a different direction? But my wife, we've been married all these years, and she's probably the least moody person I've ever met in my life. She's always consistent. She gets up in a great mood. She goes to bed in a great mood, just all during the day. It's great. It doesn't matter what happens. I got to tell you something, true confession, I'm not that way. I can allow certain things, and maybe some of you watching are the same way. And sometimes it's little things. If you don't mind me using a Christmas illustration, we're getting close to May, and so we're not too far from the halfway point of the year. But my favorite secular Christmas book of all times, and I've even preached sermon series around it, A Christmas Carol. You remember when Jacob Marley is visiting Scrooge for the first time, and he looks at Scrooge and says, "You don't believe that I'm here, do you?" And Scrooge says, "No, I don't." And Marley says, "What evidence do you have that I don't exist?" And Scrooge said, because of my senses. Because my senses can be shaken, can be thrown by a little thing, a bit of beef or a bad piece of potato. And you know what? Scrooge said a mouthful, no pun intended. Sometimes it's just little things, isn't it? Like here in Oklahoma, where, last week, beautiful weather, summer-like weather. This week, for the most part, pretty cool weather. Yesterday, 70 degrees or so. Today, it didn't even hit 50. And I know probably where you live, you're going through the same thing. No sun at all today. Even little things like that can put us in a bad mood. And certainly, these last 5 or 6 weeks, all that we've been through, man, you can wake up in a bad mood, go through the day in a bad mood, and go to bed in a bad mood. And that's not what God wants. God doesn't want us to be in a bad mood at home, particularly if we're all trapped together at home. And by the way, this is good for your kids as well. Teaching your children from an early age, the world does not revolve around them, and not to make excuses for them when they wake up in the morning, and shouldn't say things, we got off on the wrong side of the bed. But here's the key. If I want everybody in my family to be in a good mood, I have to lead by example. I have to stay in a good mood. And how do we do that? Well, we stay close to Christ. That's what we do. We stay close to Christ. We stay close in His Word. I know many of you thinking, boy, that's the answer you guys always give. All you preachers say the same thing. But it's a fact. The closer you are to the Lord, the more you are in His Word, the more you're going to become like Christ. The more Christ-like you will become. Jesus was not moody. And so let's work on that. Why don't you try working on that for the rest of the day? Say a quick prayer right now and say, Lord, help me not to be moody today. And then start off your day tomorrow by saying, Lord, whatever happens, help me not to be moody. Help me to be consistent in you and to prepare for a great Lord's Day. I hope this has been helpful. It's been great to talk to you. Before I let you go, remember, Sunday morning, per usual, 9:45, right here, Praise Kids Live at Crossroads with Crystal and Mabel. They do a great job with our kids. Your kids ought to be up and going on that. And then 10:30, we're going to do worship, and I'm preaching on the king of doubt and worry, the king of doubt and worry and fear. You don't want to miss that. God bless you. You have a great evening, and we'll see you back here Sunday morning. Take care.